Okay, grade 8, we are working on dividing by fractions. So in this chapter, you're going to learn how to divide an integer by a fraction and also to divide a fraction by another fraction. But here are the key terms you need to know before you continue. The term integer basically refers to any positive or negative whole number. And the term reciprocal means basically to inverse, meaning if you had a fraction 1/2, you'd inverse it to 2/1. And then to continue, the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3/1, and the reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4. So the reciprocal basically means just to flip it. So now we're going to learn how to divide an integer by a fraction. So I'll do the first one as an example. 8 is the same thing as saying 8/1. We're dividing it by 1/2. We can't do this. So what we actually have to do is we have to find the reciprocal of 1/2. So this becomes 8/1, and instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by its reciprocal, 2/1. So 8/1 times 2/1 is 16/1, which just makes 16. So every time you need to find the reciprocal and multiply it. So give B and C a try. Pause. So let's do this together. 12 is the same thing as saying 12/1. And we are not going to divide by 3/4. We're actually going to times it by its reciprocal, 4/3. And then you just multiply. That becomes 48/3, which just simplifies down into 16. 36 turns into 36/1. We do not divide by 4/5. We actually times it by its reciprocal, 5/4. And I'm going to cross simplify just to make this easier on me. And then I'm just going to multiply straight ahead, which makes 45/1, which is just 45. So now we're going to do this with fractions. When we're dividing by fractions, just like in the beginning in the first skill, the first fraction doesn't change because we're dividing into that fraction. And like I said before, we actually don't divide by fractions. We actually times it by its reciprocal, 5/2. So in this case, we just multiply straight across. This makes 30/14. This simplified down will become 15/7. And this simplifies down into 2 1/7. The second one, the first one doesn't change, 14/27, multiplied by its reciprocal times 18/7. This is intimidating. I'm going to cross simplify. So this turns into 1 and 2 because I divided by 7. These two I divide by 9, so 27 turns into 3 and 18 turns into 2. And I'm just going to multiply straight across, which makes 4/3. Turning into 1 1/3. Go ahead and try the next 3 on your own. Pause. Let's see if we can do this together. 15/20 times 5/4. We cross simplified 5 and 20 by 5. Then we multiply straight across and you make 15/16. 18/21 times 7/6 simplifies 7 and 21 diagonally by 7, making 1 and 3. Simplify 6 and 18 by 6 diagonally, making 3 and 1. Then now multiply straight across, making 3/3, therefore 1. This one's a bit trickier. My advice, turn this into an improper. So to turn it into an improper, remember, you multiply by its denominator to get your parts. So 5 times 4 makes 20. And then you have to add on the 3 remaining. This makes 23. So you should have a fraction of 23/4. And again, we don't divide, we times it by its reciprocal. And simplify diagonally. This should make 23/2, which turns into 10 1/2.